the whole conversation regarding like what's happening with like the Ghislaine Maxwell 100 names, like this whole thing. And I've called in before, but I literally just had an hour-long conversation with my astrology dude, and like I'm trying to convince him to be a part of my podcast because we do such a good conversation. Because I have all of the intel about news and all the media gathering and all the chaos that happens in the world, but he can read it and interpret it into astrology charts. But I called in earlier about talking about an August 9th date. He was talking about an August 9th kind of big moment of unveiling. Yeah. But come to find out that the Ghislaine Maxwell hearing is going to be on August 11th. So like that is right in par with what he was kind of shooting. You always got to do plus or minus a day or two with this astrology reading stuff. But I mean, and he what he did was he read Ghislaine Maxwell's star chart down to the date. You got to have the specific like birth chart sign, but Ghislaine Maxwell, she has a lot of Mercury in her star chart, which is the messenger, which is the you think of the postman, like delivery and news and information. So with Mercury being a prominent sign in her chart, and currently we're in a Mercury retrograde, but Mercury goes direct. Mercury comes out of retrograde right in that same time that she's having those quote unquote hearings. And then we're going to have her disclose this information, whatever information it is. I think it's all going to be bunk BS anyways. She's going to say whatever wants to be heard by the DOJ, but I'm not going to take 2 seconds of that. But I just think it's all interesting how this unveiling and all the star charts and this, it all aligns in a very unique way with Ghislaine Maxwell. And then the whole Allan Dersowitz thing. I mean, like, we have the web we weave. They could not write a script that is as involved as this that we're witnessing right now in this world.
100%. And maybe the August 9th date doesn't have to mean it's her hearing. Perhaps something happens before to stop it.
Yes. Or possibly, exactly. Like, or something comes in, new information comes to light regarding this moment. But I mean, for all things, if you want to kind of like distill it all down, the fact that Allan Dersowitz is being so upfront about all of this. Well, you know, there might be good people that are compromised with this information. It could be a bad, you know, you don't know who's good and bad in these files. Like, you know, he's trying to cover some people, including himself. And then, you know, or Leslie Wexner just like handing all this information, you know, giving Epstein all of this information, or like being the financier of all this.
He was the power of attorney for Lex Wessner. Like, yeah, the guy from Bed Bath & Beyond and Victoria's Secret, I believe it was for 16 years. Why? Yeah, and he gave him like a $270 million house.
You have, what's his name? You have the Department of Commerce, Howard Lutnik, yes, sitting right behind Trump, yeah, and he's next door neighbors of Epstein up until the day he died in the New York penthouse. Yep. So I mean, like, it's not a coincidence. Robert Maxwell's death in the Spanish Isles or off the coast of Spain. Yep. In the 90s, like there's way more, and I don't think we're ever gonna really know. And I think what it really comes down to is that there are honest people in this world who want the truth. Mm-hmm. We're never going to see the truth. But I think being persistent and being passionate about what we know to be good in this world, we do not want evil people to be running this world. Therefore, whoever is tied to this nefarious, multi-generational decade bloodletting, whatever have you, that's kind of beside the point. We don't need to convince people that it is the evil. It's the fact that like it is happening and these people are covering up for each other. Therefore, the brothers and sisters next to us in our community and in our networks, we have more in common to unite together to say, yeah, we probably don't want these people in charge of the upper echelons of corporations, public service, military apparatus, government, border control, all these things. That's what we're trying to shine the light of. And if it means a fundamental change of our global system, like, so be it. But we have to be prepared for the ramifications that we're asking for, you know?
Is it so much to ask that we are not governed by satanic pedophiles that hurt children? I mean,
right.
I don't know why this is so controversial.
Why is it so difficult?
Because I think the network is so widespread. It's not just this country, and it's not just this decade. This is centuries old, thousands of years going on. You know, we know evil is just rampant, and this is just our version that we have to deal with, but it's deeply embedded. You know, I brought up the Rothschilds, and that's become kind of like a meme, but I mean, it's no joke. That is centuries of a very powerful family with a lot of money. You know, just one example for those who don't know, I'm sure many of you guys do, but like, this family had so much money during the Napoleonic Wars, they funded both sides of the war. And then they decided, we want Britain to win, so let's pull back the funds on Napoleon. And, you know, I forget which Rothschild it was at the time, but like, they knew about Waterloo and Napoleon losing, I think, before the press. I believe that's what it was. They knew before someone, I believe it was before the press. This is deep, ancient money. And it's not just them. You know, we can talk about the DuPont family. They're insanely powerful. Also possibly incestuous, definitely evil. You know, we've had guests on this show, Destiny Rendez, I always get her last name wrong, Resendez, talking about the DuPont heir, one of them, raping his own little child, you know, and then he didn't have to go to jail. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff with the DuPont stuff, and like, we can get into the chemicals and the polluting and how they made the gunpowder for every American war. And these are huge, powerful families. The DuPonts were also, I believe, part of the business plan we've talked about with trying to overthrow FDR with Smedley Butler. You know, these corporations coming together to overthrow our government. You know, not like I remember, but I don't like FDR as a concept. But I don't want to overthrow a government. I don't want a coup ran by corporate, you know, magnates. And installing someone to turn the country into whatever their vision is, which is war. Well, Smedley's put it best. War is a racket. It's not really for freedom. It's to keep the corporations going. Something the Rothschilds know a lot about, making money off war. Something the DuPonts know a lot about. Something the Rockefellers knew a lot about. Rockefellers were funded by the Rothschilds. So there's this like ancient strain of very rich evil that has just embedded itself into the DNA of, unfortunately, Earth. And now we're dealing with it.
And I think that's like the crux of what I think this generation and what we are here as humans on this plane to kind of break free of. You know, my channel is called Break the Chains, like Break the Chains Media. You have to be the ones to be the first and last line of the truth of what we see in this world, how to speak the truth to power, how to be awakened to see that this is a multi-generational bloodline, you know, evil power control system that has been going for hundreds, if not thousands of years. If you like I guarantee you there were people in power that do the exact same thing that they're doing now that they were doing during you know, pre-dynastic flood Egypt. Like we're talking like thousands of years ago human culture. Like Moloch, that is, I guess, an inherent flaw of humanity, you know? Is that there will always rise to atop some ego megalomaniac people who want to enslave humanity, and we need to try to find that balance as free people of the world.
Well put, man. Totally agree. I think that's great. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you do. You know, keep crushing it. And lastly, you guys, I think the powers that be are getting kind of lazy when this active shooter decides to off himself on floor number 33. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that's kind of, they're getting a little lazy with that.
Just before I walked in here, Kellen told us that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
God, that's gonna give us all the trolls meat for another 2 days. But y'all can find me on X, Break the Chains M, Break the Chains Media on Rumble. Appreciate all you guys do.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.